The Black Death, which swept through Europe in the mid-14th century, was one of the deadliest pandemics in human history. It not only decimated the population, but also had profound and lasting impacts on European society, economy, religion, and culture. Here's an exploration of how the Black Death reshaped Europe. 1. The pandemic's devastation. The Black Death, caused by the bacterium Yersinia pestis, is believed to have originated in Asia before spreading to Europe through trade routes. Between 1347 and 1351, it killed an estimated 25 to 30 million people in Europe, about one-third of the continent's population. Some regions experienced even higher mortality rates, with entire towns and villages being wiped out. 2. Economic consequences. Labor shortages and wages. The massive loss of life caused severe labor shortages across Europe. With fewer workers available, the surviving laborers found themselves in high demand, leading to increased wages and improved working conditions. This shift in the labor market weakened the feudal system, as serfs and peasants were able to demand better terms for their labor or move to other regions where opportunities were more favorable. 3. Changes in agriculture and land use. With so many people dead, vast tracts of farmland were left untended. In response, landowners began to shift from labor-intensive crops to less demanding livestock farming, particularly sheep herding, which required fewer workers. This shift had long-term effects on the European economy, contributing to the growth of the wool industry and trade. 4. Social upheaval and mobility. The Black Death also led to significant social upheaval. The rigid class structures of medieval Europe began to break down as social mobility increased. The loss of so many people created opportunities for survivors to acquire land, wealth, and status that would have been unimaginable before the pandemic. In some regions, this contributed to the decline of feudalism and the rise of a more market-based economy. 5. Religious impact. Crisis of faith. The Black Death had a profound impact on religion in Europe. The sheer scale of the devastation, coupled with the inability of the Church to prevent or explain the plague, led to a crisis of faith for many people. Some turned to extreme religious practices, such as flagellation, while others became disillusioned with the Church's authority. The pandemic also led to the persecution of minorities, particularly Jews, who were often scapegoated for the spread of the disease. 6. Cultural and artistic responses. The pervasive sense of death and suffering during the Black Death deeply influenced European culture and art. This period saw a rise in macabre themes with an emphasis on mortality and the transience of life. The dance macabre, or dance of death, became a popular motif in art, symbolizing the universality of death regardless of one's social status. Literature, too, reflected the grim realities of the time, with works like Boccaccio's Decameron providing vivid accounts of the plague's impact on society. 7. Demographic shifts and urbanization. In the aftermath of the Black Death, Europe experienced significant demographic shifts. Many rural areas were depopulated, leading to increased migration to cities. This urbanization contributed to the growth of towns and cities, laying the groundwork for the economic and cultural transformations that would later characterize the Renaissance. 8. Long-term economic changes. The economic changes spurred by the Black Death had long-term consequences. The increase in wages and the decline of serfdom contributed to the development of a more diversified and dynamic economy. Additionally, the rise in demand for goods and services in the post-plague period helped to stimulate trade and commerce, leading to the growth of a merchant class that would play a key role in the economic developments of the late Middle Ages and early modern period. 9. Political implications. The Black Death also had significant political implications. The weakening of the feudal system and the rise of a more mobile and economically empowered population challenged the traditional power structures. In some regions, this led to peasant revolts and increased tension between the nobility and the common people. Over time, these tensions would contribute to the gradual shift towards more centralized and modern forms of government. 10. Influence on medicine and public health. The devastation caused by the Black Death also led to changes in medicine and public health. Although medical knowledge at the time was limited, the plague prompted increased interest in understanding disease and how to prevent it. Over time, this would contribute to the development of more systematic approaches to public health, and the eventual advances in medical science during the Renaissance and beyond.